Hello, safety message for the week of October 14th. Recordable injuries, why employees should care. All injuries need to be reported, no matter how small. This again comes from the website, which a copy will be sent to everyone. Not only does it protect you by reporting it, it also protects the company as a whole, possibly preventing a first aid injury from developing into what's called an OSHA recordable injury. This safety talk is going to look at recordable injuries and the impact not reporting an injury can have. What is a recordable injury? OSHA has guidelines that dictate that work-related injuries must be recorded. Severe injuries that are work-related are almost always considered a recordable injury. Some examples include injuries that result in days away from work. Injuries that could result in restricted duty, loss of consciousness, or even death. Recordable injuries are a negative mark on the company's safety record. Just let's cut the chase. Why should employees care about recordable injuries? Well, here's some information. Companies such as insurance companies or large contractors who are bidding out work look at rates like the EMR, which is called the emergence experience modifier rate. Some people refer to it as mod rate. And the TRIR, which is the total recordable incident rate, which quantify the rate of workplace injuries at a company. Measurable. In case of insurance companies, the base cost of premiums and insurability of companies applies for insurance coverage largely on these numbers. These rates can also be a significant factor in being awarded future projects from larger companies. If a bidding company has too high of an incident rate, then these companies won't even allow the subcontractor to bid on the work. Involved with it all the time myself. It is deemed too much of a liability for a company that is awarding the work, no matter how low the bid. A high rate of recordable injuries has very real negative business impact. Example, the more money the company spends on insurance, the loss of money from the lack of work can cause the employees to be laid off, not receive bonuses, or receive less than other perks that may be offered. The goal of safety efforts is to prevent accidents and injuries in the first place. But when an injury does occur, employees need to understand that they need to report it immediately. Treatment beyond first aid. Injuries such as the loss of consciousness or fractures are almost always reported immediately due to the severity of the injuries. Unfortunately, employees are often not aware of the less severe injuries that do not result in time off of work, or even that do not result in a workers' comp claim. Can still be a recordable injury. For more common, less severe injuries, recordability as defined by OSHA depends on the medical care provided to the employee following the injury. If an employee only receives first aid as defined by OSHA, the injury is not recordable. Common examples of first aid defined by OSHA. Non-prescription medicine. Cleaning a wound using bandages, using hot and cold therapy. Real world example of recordable versus non-recordable. Let's look at a quick example of an employee getting a small cut on a finger. employee decides not to report the injury, wipes off the blood on his or her dirty pants, and continues on to work. 3 days later, finger swollen and infected. Employee put on antibiotics by the plant doctor. This becomes recordable. Let's now pretend that the employee decided to alert his supervisor of the injury immediately, is taken to the same plant doctor. The doctor only needs to wash the wound and apply a bandage. Not recordable. In summary, it's vital to realize that by not reporting an injury, you are not only potentially harming yourself, but you could, also be harming the business as a whole. Every employee at a company depends on each other to complete their work to the best of their ability each day, so that tomorrow there's a job to come back to. Working safely and reporting injuries is part of everyone's job. Thank you, and have a safe week.